Good morning. We have three items today on our Interwatch. First one's going to be an aggravated battery that occurred in the 5200 block of West 9th. I'm going to give just a quick statement about our anti-bullying campaign that we've been doing this week. And then Officer Cruz will be coming up to give an award or speak about an award that's going to be given to a couple of our Wichita citizens today. First case is going to be 16C 75487. It is an aggravated battery occurred in the 5200 block of West 9th yesterday at approximately 11:45 p.m. I'm sorry, 11:45 a.m. 11:45 a.m. On October 27th, at approximately 11:45 a.m., officers were dispatched to a domestic violence with a weapon call in the 5300 block of West 9th. Upon arrival, officers made contact with a 50-year-old female who had reported getting into a disturbance with a known 61-year-old male. When a 32-year-old male intervened in the disturbance. All the parties went outside of the residence, and the suspect got into a green Pontiac Grand Prix. It was bearing Kansas tag 073JKS and attempted to strike the 50-year-old female with the vehicle. The suspect then attempted to strike the 50-year-old female a second time with a vehicle when the 32-year-old male drew a firearm and pointed it at the suspect. The suspect then drove the vehicle towards the 32-year-old male victim, who fired one shot which struck the vehicle windshield, and the suspect struck the male victim with the vehicle. The suspect then left the scene in the green Grand Prix, and the male victim was taken to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And we ask, if you see this Pontiac Grand Prix, again bearing Kansas tag 073JKS, that you call 911 immediately.
Can you describe the suspect?
I will get that information. I don't have that written down, Lily. I'll get it to you.
The garage door was caved in. Was that part of the situation? Or?
I'm not sure if the garage, at what point the garage became part of that, or if that had already been there. I'm not familiar with that.
What's the relation between the 50-year-old female and the 61-year-old male?
They are married.
They are, or they were?
They're husband and wife.
Any issues there before?
I don't know past calls at the residence, if there's been domestic relationship issues in the past or not.
What's the relation of the 32-year-old male?
The 32-year-old male is a boyfriend of the female victim's son, or an acquaintance of some type that lives at the home as well.
Some of the officers were back out there last night.
I don't know. I don't know if any other information as far as a call last night, but I can look into that.
What was the plate number again?
073JKS. John King Sam, 073JKS.
What year is this Grand Prix?
I don't have a year on the vehicle.
Any info on the firearm?
No, just a handgun. Second item is just a continuation of our anti-bullying campaign. Today, the Wichita Police Department will conclude our anti-bullying campaign. Again, we have partnered with Cake News, iHeartRadio, and USD 259. And the Wichita Police Department has posted a video on our Facebook page of officers, a detective, and the police chief, Gordon Ramsey, giving information out about bullying. So check out our Facebook page to watch that video and follow us on Facebook. All right, I will hand it over to Officer Cruz, who will be speaking about an award to give out.
Good morning. Officer Cruz, Wichita Police Department. We have a great announcement to talk about today. We're very happy and proud of the citizens that were working with us today. And for the details specifically in regards to the case involving this incident, and this is, again, a outstanding citizen assistance plaque that we're going to be giving out to two citizens of the city of Wichita. So for the details in regards to what occurred and what this is all about, I have the investigating officer, Officer Gonzalez.
Can you give us your first name?
Good morning. Officer Hector Gonzalez.
Thank you.
Yep. This is regarding case number 16C 042258. On Saturday, June 18, 2016, officers were dispatched to a burglary in progress in the 2000 block of South Ida. When we arrived, officers made contact with two citizens. First citizen was Maria Garcia Hernandez, and the second citizen was Melquiades Onofre Guzman. Maria stated that she had seen out of her back window that there were two suspects that went into their neighbor's yard and had actually made entry into the residence. Once they made entry into the residence, she called her ex-husband, Melquiades, who then came back on scene. Melquiades intercepted one of the suspects in the alley who was actually carrying a television out of the residence. After Melquiades made contact with that suspect, the suspect ran towards Maria's direction, and Maria continued to give very good, accurate information to 911 dispatchers, who were then giving that information to officers who were arriving on scene. Officers were able to make an arrest a few short moments after arriving on scene, and it was due to the good information that was received by these two outstanding citizens. To present the award is going to be Deputy Chief Salcido here with us. You can come up here, please, sir.
I'm Deputy Chief Jose Salcido. And again, I'll be presenting the award. It gives me a great pleasure to present this type of awards because it actually demonstrates that we have courageous citizens that draw the limit of what they're willing to tolerate, and due to their actions, it makes our jobs a whole lot easier. So without further ado, I'm going to present this this plaque for outstanding citizens to Ms. Maria Garcia Hernandez.
And we'll have them come to the front after our meeting, please. Okay.
And then next to Mr. Melquiades Onofre Guzman, if you would step up, sir. Stand right here. There we go. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Again, Deputy Chief, just reiterate why it's so important to give these types of honors to citizens that are doing what you, the police department, want, which is be your eyes and ears out in the community.
Yeah, it's critically important because, as you said, we can't put an officer in every corner or block of this community. So we rely on citizens being courageous enough to see something and then say something, which it means picking up the phone and calling 911. Without that partnership, we would not get our job done because we can't be everywhere at once. So we're very appreciative, and we would expect that citizens throughout the city kind of use as an example that if they see something that they find suspicious, to pick up the phone and call 911 and not wait till something actually happens to let us know.
And another thing, obviously, we have many different languages that are spoken here in the Wichita community. If people do call 911, are there resources for them to actually communicate with those who English may not be their first language?
In my experience, when you call 911 and they determine that there might be a language barrier, what they do is they put you on a brief hold and get you to a language center to act as a translator. Sometimes that causes a little frustration on the callers, but sometimes if they just get that little bit of information, we can go ahead and dispatch the appropriate resources right away. So the 911 has that workaround.
Do you know how much time lapsed before these individuals were taken into custody?
Without looking at the case specifically, I don't know.
Approximately 15 minutes.
15 minutes. So
So were they, I guess, how many were there? Were there two individuals?
Two two individuals, yes.
Did you trace them back to other home?
One of them was,
You want to talk? Come on.
yes. Just one individual was apprehended just a few blocks away from the scene. The other individual we were not able to locate.
So you're still looking for them?
We don't have any other information other than brief and description of.
But typically what you observe in this type of offenses, where people breaking into homes, you have two types of offenders. You have a commuter, which comes from outside the area, or the marauder, who is very familiar with the area, and they prey on the area, and that's what leads us to what we call hotspots, where we've observed other burglaries with similar MO. On those type of burglaries, if we don't catch them or we have evidence, it's very difficult to connect them. So we rely on citizens, being our eyes and ears, to stop that trend or that hotspot. And I think this is a great example of how that happened. You know, forensically or circumstantially, we probably could never link the burglaries, but we know that from just experience that typically if you have one burglary in an area, whether it's a commuter or a marauder, you're going to target the right people. And this type of proactive action by the citizens allowed us to stop that trend.
Can you also address one more thing for me? I'm sorry. Some communities might be very weary about calling police, but you definitely encourage to let people know that they should call police if they see something suspicious. Can you please remind people that if people want to remain anonymous, though, that they still can,
Yeah.
and you still want them to call?
Yes, typically when people call 911, they can elect one of two things. A, we can contact them. And some people feel afraid because that puts them on the spot, and some people elect for us to contact them by phone. We'll try, short of a homicide, where we actually need to speak to them. We'll use the phone to call and say, hey, do we have the right person, or clarify this. So there's a lot of daily, our officers are not contacting a calling party out of their fear of retaliation by the offender directly in person, but we do call them on the phone that they provide 911 to say, hey, here it is. And sometimes we get it wrong, and we recognize that. We put them on the spot anyways because the information was not relayed, and we apologize for that ahead of time, but typically we try to honor their request to not be contacted, yes. Anything else?
Are they going to want to speak, or are they going to want to answer?
Yeah, we're gonna do that afterwards.
Okay.
Okay. That's all we have. Thank you very much.